So before I get fully started on this review, I just have to say that my buddy, who's also a Twitch streamer, Chris Chaotix, he randomly texted me as I was about to go see this film and said, you know what, I basically think if you and Margot Robbie were in the same room, that she'd be in your league. And I'm just sitting there going, bullshit. Yeah, I first said, I'm technically not my type or whatever. I was trying to play it off and everything. And then all of a sudden, I remembered that she's a die-hard hockey fan who also plays hockey and has that level of excitement that I do at games and just, she's not going to call me back, is she? Oh, no. Alright guys, gals, and everything in between, I'm here today to review for you Birds of Prey and the really long title that I am never gonna actually say because this movie should just be called Birds of Prey. Anyways, Birds of Prey is the comic book movie set in the DCEU, or Worlds of DC, whatever you want to call it, and it ultimately follows up after Suicide Squad. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinzel, or Harley Quinn as we all know her. She's broken up from the Joker. She's trying to start a new life for herself, which unfolds all of the debauchery that is to come for the next hour and 45 minutes. I have to say, I went into this film expecting to absolutely hate it. This is one of those rare occurrences that I go, oh man, that movie's gonna suck. I'm gonna rip this movie apart. And then I watched the film and went, well damn, I liked it. This film is basically a action comedy, and I didn't know it was R-rated, and I have to say DC is really hitting their stride with these R-rated comic book films, where they're taking after what Deadpool did and all of this, where they're not pulling back any punches. It doesn't have that PG-13 vibe, and it has some really cool action. Birds of Prey, every character felt dynamic. They had their own unique personality, and you really felt the vibe of everyone who was on screen in a good way. The action, stellarly filmed. There is a scene in Gotham City that's an action scene. It's in Gotham City Police Department, and it's basically Harley Quinn just cleaning house, and it is so visually awesome to watch that I was just sitting there going, oh, wow. It was mind-blowingly compelling to watch these action scenes because they blended this slow-mo with the stylistic colors. It's not drab like what some people complained about with previous DCEU films. This really is colorful. It's action-packed. It has a Suicide Squad feel, but it has a better storytelling structure than Suicide Squad. I have to say, this is a lot better than Suicide Squad. Although I'm one of the people who said that Suicide Squad was okay, and I will stand by that. It was alright. What I'm saying here is, this is way better. This is one of the stronger DCEU films. You know, everybody always talks about how awesome Wonder Woman is, and I actually was one of the people who said, that's okay. But Birds of Prey, far superior. Margot Robbie is able to carry her character and really expand on it, make Harley Quinn human, which was really neat because it actually felt weird if there was any kind of superhero element to this film, because it felt like a humanized version of these characters, or of this character that we saw in Suicide Squad. Also, Ewan McGregor as Black Mask, he did absolutely terrific. Props to him. I can't think of a better person right now to play the role after he did it and took his own unique take on it. And there's a lot of these characters that if you are a Batman fan or a DC fan, there's some neat little trinkets in terms of lore, and I won't spoil what they are because it was really neat for me to sit there and go, oh hey, I know who that is, that's cool. It was a well-rounded film. Now it's not without its flaws. The film does that Pulp Fiction non-linear approach for about half the film. And that's fine, but it gets really old after like the third rewind. Because you know that thing in movies that they do where all of a sudden you'll see something just happen out of nowhere and they're like, oh wait, we gotta backtrack a little bit. And now you see their side of the story. They do that about four, maybe five times in this film. While that's fine and dandy, it got old by like time number three. Now, luckily, the other two weren't lengthy segments, but there were a couple times that I sat there and was like, I'm pretty sure this film technically, when the camera starts rolling, takes place over like an hour because it gets so wonky and it rewinds to this obscure stuff and then you remember, oh wait, here's where the plot resumes. It's a minor complaint, but they do that backtracking thing about too many times, and that gets a little old, but then right there, snap, the pacing picks right up. I wanted to say something as kind of like a it needed to improve, but at the same time, that's not the fault of the film. It had to do with what would be a post-credits thing. It's not really worth your time, but that's so minor that it not even really worth mentioning other than kind of a casual throwaway thing. All in all, I really loved Birds of Prey. It was one of those films that grew on me as the runtime went along because I went, okay, yeah, this is neat. And then all of a sudden, things like the actual plot starts happening, and I went, you know what? I'm fully on board with this. Margot Robbie really made me care about Harley Quinn, and I sat there and went, I'm curious to see how that enhances her character in Suicide Squad. It's really neat to watch all that unfold. I loved it. Like, that was a really well done film. While, again, it has its flaws in terms of some of the pacing a little bit between the first and second act, the rest of the film is amazingly solid. And it really becomes kind of like a Tarantino-ish, like, crime superhero film. And I'm fully on board with that. And that is why I have to say this film is absolutely big screen worthy. Alright guys, gals, and everything in between, what did you think of Birds of Prey? Are you more optimistic about the DCEU now, especially after seeing this? Don't forget to like and subscribe, got plenty more videos coming to you. Love you guys.